Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, a lot of you have been requesting that I make my definitive ranking of the 16 personalities as party buddies ever since I made the controversial claim the other day that I did not, in fact, invite my INTJ friend to my birthday party. So I'm gonna give the people what they want. After all, I am a giver. So make sure that you subscribe to the Patreon because every second that I'm spending in front of a camera, as much as I love it, is a second that I can't spend partying. And we know that ESFPs are only good for partying. Am I right? Smash that like button if you agree. So before I go through the different tiers that I'm gonna be using, I just wanted to make the disclaimer for the purposes of this video that the term partying will mean any social activity with 6 or more people. As you party people know, a party's a party whether we're in the club or getting grub. So let's dive in. Oh, and just another disclaimer, and this disclaimer is for one particular type. You know who you are. Just because I'm ranking your personality type does not mean that I'm ranking you as a person. All I'm doing here is just putting your type into a box, okay? And there's no harm in that. So our first tier is social synchronization, impeccable party form, no notes. Our second tier is great bants. This tier is for those who are good for a yarn but aren't necessarily going to be jumping up to perform karaoke in front of a whole group of people. I mean, fair enough, to each their own. We can't all have the karaoke gene. Our third tier is the sidekick tier. Now, we all know these folk. Generally keen for a party, but they don't quite have the main character energy of the first 2 tiers. It's worth pointing out, however, that sidekicks are necessary in order to make we main characters shine. Our fourth tier is not invited. These are for people who are just generally, for one reason or another, not invited. No shade to them. Some people are just more introverted or social flops, if you will, and so they just prefer to stay home. As they should. Get your pizza and Netflix, queen. I'm going to be joining you when I'm 87. And our final tier is respectfully a burden. So I'll start with my go-to party companion, ENFP. I mean, you tell me any length that an ENFP won't go to bond with people in a social situation. I'll wait. ENFPs are just objectively the best people to party with. They stayed out with me in the dance floor even when the music is too loud to talk, which I know they hate, soz, have bought me drinks even when they're in crippling debt, and are masters at taking the brunt of conversation with strangers. I once caught one of my ENFP friends talking to a dartboard, completely sober, with people in earshot, holding a garden gnome. Fun fact as well, once you get an ENFP talking about something, you can literally just hand them any object and they will just take it while they're monologuing. This is usually how I dispose of my empty glasses and rubbish at the bar. You're welcome. Oh, ESFJ, absolute riot. I love their energy, I love their banter, and I love laughing at them. But I tend to find that they have certain expectations about what a party should look like. And to me, that goes against the essence of what it means to party. The beauty of a night out is that you have no idea where you're going to end up. I reserve the right to ditch the group at any time to go talk to my new shiny friends in the corner. I reserve the right to end up in a different country. We're all adults, we'll have our fun, and we'll find our own way home. So no, I will not meet you at midnight outside McDonald's, Karen. And no, I will not be responding to the group chat. Great bants. Next, okay. I have sat down at one point or another with every single INTJ in my life and had a very candid conversation wherein they clearly stated that they're not interested in my parties, and you know what? I respect that honesty. It's a little bit of a shame because I used to enjoy getting them all wound up and placing bets on who they would make cry first. And I also used to really enjoy watching the little vein in their head almost pop every time they lost a drinking game. But I'm past the point of guilt tripping people into coming out to party with me, so I maintain my friendships with INTJs by just not inviting them. ISFP. Okay, I feel like this one's really tough because they do have sidekick energy, but they're also really great at the bants. Okay, I know I said that the great bants tier had main character energy, but I feel like I'm going to break that rule a few minutes after establishing it because this is my tier list and I can do what I want. ISFP definitely does deserve to go in great bants. They are absolutely the kind of people that you can bully into doing the male part in Love is an Open Door. ENTP is going straight into the social synchronization tier because although I kind of feel like they hate me in regular life, that is absolutely the kind of thing that I can sweep under the rug in a party setting. The ENTP is a tremendous asset to have at a party because first of all, they take nothing seriously and have very low standards for social situations, which means that I can get away with party chaos in front of them. Secondly, they make all these provocative statements but have no personal feelings themselves, so they're great for banter. And thirdly, they without fail every single time bring to the party a stream of sidekicks who seem to be pre-programmed to laugh at their jokes. I mean, can you fault them? That was a rhetorical question. ENTPs and I have a mutual agreement to keep it service level, so I'm not going to attempt to dive into their faults as that would be messy. ISTJ, great for bants. A general rule of thumb that I find is that if they have no feelings, they're great for bants. Oh, except INTP, but we'll get to that. ISTJ is also hilarious when she bluntly states her opinions about things, but seems to have no ability to read the room. The amount of people who get offended by her, but are simultaneously confused by her nonchalance is hilarious. Just remember if you're partying with an ISTJ though, to wash your hands after you use the bathroom. She checks. ESTP, another no-brainer, super easy to be around in a party setting. Unbelievably obnoxious, but you're going to want to have them around when Mr. Brightside comes on. Trust me. You can go from exchanging pleasantries over wine to suddenly being in the middle of a mosh pit with a flame shot in your hand in a second when an ESTP is around. The thrill of adrenaline and uncertainty when you're partying with an ESTP, it's my bread and butter, my friend. I even wish there was a tier above social synchronization because I feel like no one really synchronizes with this energy. It is that intense. I mean, I love it, but some of my friends have put the ESTP in the not invited category in perpetuity. It's a line that I have to try very hard not to cross because I feel like I have that same energy. I'm just more careful because I'm an F, and we know that being an F means that you're generally more palatable as a person. Oh, INFP.
Absolute sidekick.
Enablers. INFPs are just completely happy to watch while other people make fools of themselves. They're actually a great asset to a party in this regard, and so I would highly recommend considering them when devising any guest list for a party. Just be cautious that if they have recently gone through something like a breakup, they will individually pick off your guests one by one and drag them into the corner to bombard them with their feelings. Which, fair enough, it just depends what kind of party you're trying to establish. I have noticed that INFPs are particularly good for birthday parties as they absolutely froth an affirmation circle, and as I'm someone who likes to get affirmed, I always make sure to invite them to mine. Let's see who's next. ESTJ. Let's be honest, when was the last time you invited an ESTJ to your party and didn't regret it? Because for me, it was yesterday. Guys, people give ESTJs a bad rap, but I'm telling you, if you hype an ESTJ up for a party, give them plenty of notice, let them set the theme, maybe even give them full control of the itinerary, whilst making it seem like you're super grateful to them for organizing things, you know, fluff them up a little bit. They will elevate your party from good to fantastic. ESTJs will take any excuse to run the show. They love to look up train timetables, they love to explain rules to board games, they love to negotiate with security guards when I forgot to ring up ahead and put our names on the guest list. Give them the opportunity to control some chaos, the stuff that's insignificant. And they will be an ally, not a hindrance. Trust me. People don't know these party hacks. Like, you better realize how lucky you are to have me here explaining these things to you. Like, what would you do in a party situation if you didn't have me? I'm sure you've been lost at parties for a long time. You've been wondering, why is it that I'm just not enjoying parties? Well, here I am. I have blessed you. Anyway, we'll be putting ESTJ in great bands. ISTP. If I'm honest, not great party buddies to have in large social situations. Terrified of crowds, have a pretty low tolerance for the woo mentality. Generally speaking, they'll typically disappear within the first few hours without telling anyone. And then if you've got an FE user in the crowd, that leads to a whole search party, which can kind of spoil the vibe. If, on the other hand, it's a murder mystery party, different kettle of fish, because it can actually add a level of intrigue if someone disappears randomly. I will say, however, that ISTPs can be a great asset to small social situations, especially when you challenge them to make cocktails. They're perfectionists, so they'll really try to nail the recipe. That's just a little ISTP hack that I've discovered. The downside of this is that they're pretty anti-buffoonery, generally speaking, so there's a limit to how many cocktails they will give you, which means that you can't exploit this, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, am I right? And I have been known to beg for cocktails. So we'll put them in the sidekick tier with the added caveat of probably don't invite them to the bigger events. INFJs. I like to think of INFJs as the little lost children of the party. I feel like they haven't yet learned to accept that a party is just a party and nothing more. Like, there are no hidden layers, hidden meanings. The point of a party is to just relax. There's no point overanalyzing what outfit you're gonna wear because no one's paying attention to your outfit. I mean, an outfit at the end of the day is just a means of expressing yourself, not something that you should factor other people into the decision of. That sentence made no sense, but you know what I mean. Speaking of which, I like to think that how your outfit looks by the end of the night is usually an indicator of how much fun you've had. And I can't help but notice that INFJs end up looking all poised and put together, while I look like a backcountry hick. Though that might be less to do with the INFJ's level of fun and more to do with the fact that they usually end up picking someone to go and hibernate in the corner of the room with for the entirety of the night. Tell me I'm wrong! Still, I don't want to deal with the INFJs coming at me if I put them in any tier lower than sidekicks, so that's where I'll be putting them. ENTJ. I only have peace and love for ENTJs, but I just feel like our end goals at parties are very different. Like, my end goal at a party is to always have fun, whereas I feel like their end goal is to construct an academic thesis in rebuttal to whatever philosophical principle the closest alpha type personality is stipulating. They like to quote, I like to float. They like to revel, I like to brevel. They like to monopolize, I like to monopoly. Yet, even though we tend to pass like ships in the night, them to the next debate, me to the next jumping castle, people seem to keep inviting them to parties, so I guess I gotta put them in great bants. There must be something more to them, I guess, but I guess I'll never learn what that is. ISFJs are pretty much peak sidekick. They'll laugh at your jokes, get you drinks, arrive on time, comply with the theme, which I can always respect, be cordial with others, provide cordial for others, and best of all, they understand that a party is for having fun, not for discussing trauma, which brings me to the next type, ENFJs. Well, if I had $1 for every time an ENFJ had picked off one of my guests and followed them into the bathroom to trap them in a serious conversation, I'd be able to buy you all a round of drinks, let me put it that way. Fortunately, they are a lot of fun on the dance floor and have great bants, so I will be putting them in great bants. At the same time, I've never been able to shake the feeling that they're psychoanalyzing me for all the decisions that I make in a party setting. And for a person like me, that can be pretty stressful, because the actions that I choose to do at a party have no indication of who I truly am as a person. They're actions, they don't mean anything. This brings me to my own type. Obviously, social synchronization is the correct category. I mean, we really are the epitome of excellence when it comes to partying. We hit the floor and leave our morals at the door. Just kidding. I feel obliged to say just kidding because I'm representing my type here, but I actually think that was a really funny joke. No notes for ESFPs. You'll have a lot of fun when partying with us. We're fun-loving, easygoing, and happy to make fools of ourselves for your enjoyment. And our final type is INTP. Now, I know for a fact that INTPs would rather not come to my parties, but they're too polite to say so I do keep inviting them. Like, I've literally said to them, you don't have to come to my parties, it won't matter to me. I'm just here to have a good time. It's about me, not you. But for some reason, they keep thinking that they're gonna hurt my feelings if they don't come. Like I'm being introspective enough at parties to know that I have feelings. So they end up coming to the parties, but they just end up not enjoying themselves because there's loud music, surface level chit chat, drinking games and karaoke, which are 4 things that the INTP's nightmares are made of. No, seriously, they've told me as much. So I hereby speak for all ESFPs when I say that I officially release all INTPs from their self-inflicted obligation to attend our parties. At the same time, hold the phone, bucko. Because if we're talking about video game parties or board game night parties, then INTPs may well be your best asset. So keep it small with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Keep it wee with some D&D. Keep it tiny and they won't be whiny. So that's it for the types today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Oh wait, hang on a second. Did no types end up in the burden category? What happened there? Fun fact, no one is a burden for me at a party. I love all of my party friends. In fact, the only burdens are the people who don't show up. Oh, hang on, wait, if I'm making that a rule, that would mean that I have to put ENTP and ENFP in the burden category for all the times that they flaked. In fact, you know what? I'd have to put all of the Ps in, yeah. It'd have to be all of the Ps, INFP, yeah, they've all flaked. They've all not shown up to my parties. Okay, I'm not going to be able to make that a rule, actually. Okay, I'm vetoing that rule. I'll edit that part out. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and go over and join the Patreon. These videos do take a lot of time and effort to make, so I got to shake my cup. You guys rule. Don't forget it. And until next party, catch you later. Except INTJs, you won't be there.